Hey guys, OG Albina here, and it has been a while since we've gotten any Legends ZA news. We know that Megas are coming back, and we know that presumably we'll probably get some new forms, maybe some regional variants of, Pokemon from Kalos, but other than that, we've kind of just been stuck waiting. So I was thinking about the games recently. I've been watching a lot of speculation videos, and I wanted to ask you guys what Megas or regional variants you want to see in Legends ZA. Bonus points if you give me some competitive implications for them, because it's kind of what we mostly focus over here on this channel. If you guys do enjoy today's Twitter discussion, be sure to drop a like on the video as well as subscribe to the channel. We got about a month left to hit 4,000 subs by the end of the year, and I need your help in order to do so. So I'd really appreciate if you helped out a smaller creator like myself. And yeah, with that being said, excuse me, let's jump into it. Now, I will preface this, which I didn't realize I did this video a little bit more recently. I thought I did this back in February as well, like a little bit after the announcement of ZA and things of the sort. So it's been about 10 months. I usually do like recycle Twitter questions after about a year. So if you're wondering why we're doing it again, I kind of just forgot I did it recently, but I don't think it matters. It's all new ideas, right? So I think it's fun to go over regardless. So yeah. With that being said, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. First up, we have Zeke, my goat here, saying that they would love a Golurk Evo or Mega where the seal on its chest gets removed and its true power gets unleashed. Maybe give it pure power. I don't know how to balance it, but it makes sense. Oh yeah, I don't know if we can balance that. And since we're back in Kalos, a Mega Cofagrigus with a design based on the Paris catacombs would it be rad. I would be super here for both. I think Golurk is really cool, and I'd love to see. I think Mega fits a little bit better than Evo in that instance, but I think Mega does fit really well, because like the whole idea is like the power, like you know inside, and like the potential of a Pokemon being unleashed, like very like Mega Steelix with its like crystals coming off, or Mega Tyranitar with its back splitting open, and Mega Aerodactyl with the stones shooting out of its face and body. So I think that would make a lot of sense. I see some kind of offensive buff definitely making sense, but I don't know if I necessarily think huge power or pure power would be good. I mean, you have to like really lower its physical attack to a pretty gross degree, but I guess that would give more room to buff its other stats in that regard. So not a terrible idea. And again, as we're going through, if nobody gives like an idea for an ability, right? Or like, competitively, if you have ideas for these, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And then we have Roserade. Oh, and then we have Mega Cofagrigus, which I didn't really touch on. I'm here for it. More defensive ghosts. I think maybe making it a little bit stronger offensively would be cool to have like a super OTR ghost option, as well as something just really bulky and obnoxious. I'm wondering if maybe like some kind of poison typing could be cool on it too. Ghost Poison's a really good typing defensively, we've seen with Pekarunt. So maybe a little bit more of an offensive and slow variant could be cool, opposed to like, the min-maxed, I'm physically defensive Pekarunt that we have right now. So yeah, I think that could be cool. Next up, we have Rosary the God here saying Feraligatr would be a fun regional. It feels like a mon that's meant to be a fire type with how it's built. It could be a volcanic crocodile. It seems interesting to me. I would be super here for it if you kept like sheer force on it too. Right? Like, say it's like, I wouldn't say Fire Rock, I think that kind of sucks, but Fire Ground, with Sheer Force, kind of like Mega Camera Up this, maybe you just make it pure fire in that regards too. I think that could also be awesome. But you keep it as like kind of that like pseudo DD sweeper, you give it Sheer Force. Like Sheer Force Flare Blitzes would be so unbelievably strong. I mean, and if you made it fast enough, you could definitely do like more offensive, like you could definitely do Fire Rock, because Fire Rock with Sheer Force, like Flare Blitz Rock Slide, seems really strong. So I'm actually here for it. I think that could be really cool for sure. Next up, we have A12, and of course, Mega Diggersby. He's the Diggersby guy, right? I'm surprised he doesn't have like a Diggersby logo at this point. I think the Delibird logo has ran its course, Mr. A12. We need to have at least a Diggersby profile picture. He says Mega Diggersby, give it huge power, double its attack and special attack, and then give it return back from normal stab, which has the same base power. Buff its special attack 20, or buff its special attack 20, attack 30, and speed 50. Regional variant of Diggersby. Give it an ability that doubles its special attack instead of attack. Okay, the first one is very silly and dumb. Don't do that. That's not a Pokemon design. But the other idea, right? Like, I think not having a special huge power is a big loss on competitive Pokemon right now. That not having a special Intimidate, which I think someone talks about a little bit later, but I think in Pokemon Insurgence and in Pokemon Radical Red, they have like special huge power. I think it's Athenian and Insurgence, dude, my fan game knowledge coming out crazy. And then I think they gave it to like a lot of the cat Pokemon. It's called Feline Prowess in, what do you call it, Radical Red. I would love to see it. I think it could be cool. I don't know how you'd make a regional variant of Diggersby in particular in the region that it's from. That's not too different time-wise, so I don't think that Diggersby in particular is the move. I get it's a bit, obviously. But in general, the concept of, like, special pure power, 100%. I agree 100%. Next up, we have Kaz here saying, I think with the Rowlodon getting an evolution, some of the standalone dragons like Draudigon, Drampa, and Turtonator need mega evolutions or evolutions or megas. Jeez. Otherwise, I think Mew deserves a mega since Mewtwo has 2 of them. Otherwise, other legends / mythicals like Jirachi, Crest, and Darkrai. So I will agree on 2 of those, right? I think like Pokemon like Draudigon, Drampa, and Turtonator, 100%. I think getting an evolution for those guys would be awesome. One, I love the implication of like Eviolite on those guys. I think that'd be awesome. But I think Draudigon in particular really needs it. Maybe not the other 2, but Draudigon feels incomplete. One, I think Eviolite Draudigon would be incredible. But 2, I think like some kind of like Gargoyle type guy, some Dragon Steel. Maybe we don't go Dragon Steel because it was recently done. Maybe you go Dragon Rock, or maybe you just keep it as that pure dragon. You just kind of lean into that bulky gargoyle aesthetic, give it some spikes as well, because everything got spikes this generation. It would be really cool. And then Mega Mew, I think that is a very free idea, like very free. Just give it Protean, and it's a broken mega. Like it's incredible. You up the stats by what, 20 each, so you go 120s across. Can't hold an item though, so it's like, I know it's RC stats, can't hold an item. This would obviously be like an Uber level bond, right? But you give it 120 in every stat and you give it Protean. I think that'd be sick. I think that'd be really cool. And it's, keep in mind, it's also like current gen Protean, right? So the first move you click, that's what you're getting your stat boost on. So I think it would really kind of like temper those setup sets. Like if you're Dragon Dance Mew, you're going to become a dragon. So you might be running like some scale shot shit, right? So I would think that would make it lean more into like 4 attack sets or like rocks 3 attacks, spikes 3 attacks type stuff. Maybe a little bit more utility based, but I think Mega Mew in particular would be super, super sick. Then we have another one from Kaz here saying, I would like a new Nidoline. It goes like Nido Jack or something along the lines. So we have Jack, King, and Queen. I think some of the weaker water types should get forms or Evo, such as Huntail, Gorbis, Luvdisc, Lumineon, as they just feel awkward. And then a regional Evo regional or Evo for Spiritomb. I see a lot of Spiritomb Evos. I wonder how that would be done. I wouldn't be opposed, right? I think it'd be cool, but the main one I kind of want to touch on here is I think like another Nido would be awesome. You could do Nido Jack, and you could have it be like, again, I don't know exactly what a Jack is, but I remember from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Jack's Knight or whatever, and he was a little bit more slim of a guy. You could have a little bit more of like a fast offensive, like hit and run type Nido. I think that would actually be really, really cool. I don't know exactly what a Jack is though, I'll be honest. Like what a King and a Queen is. But I think of Jack's Knight, so I think like some kind of physically offensive, like hit him quick and get out kind of Nido would be really cool. Losing out on a lot of the bulk, but excuse me, still being really strong, and it's something different, right? The poison ground typing is so good, so I'm always here for it. And we have Jaybear, Mega Huntail with Vicious Rend. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I feel like actually if any other water Pokemon got it, Huntail getting it will make sense with like how his chompers are, right? Because like it's a biting move, so that would make sense. And we have Nate here saying, Water Arcanine must be coming soon. I don't think it is, man. I think we would have gotten it at this point. It'd be cool, but I think the fact that we have Hisuian Arcanine, I'd rather see something else get something like that. Other wants to be a Ledium Mega to make him cooler, like a Power Ranger guy, and you could also make Golduck cool. Yeah, I think the Ledium one is like super easy. You just like don't buff its attack too much and you give it huge power. It just makes so much sense thematically. Or you just like buff up its attack and give it like Iron Fist or something like that. Make it a bug fighting type, not a bug falling type, because that typing sucks. So I think that'd be a good idea. Maybe if you're going like Power Ranger, right? Because it's kind of like that Power Ranger aesthetic kind of look. I think you could do like a, what do you call it? You could do like Bug Steel too. Just like a great typing, obviously. Bullet Punch. And you could give it, again, Iron Fist in that regard, right? So I think it's cool. Next up, we have Thriller here saying, gonna take an idea from Pokemon Uranium, Mega Arbok having Intimidate, and then its Mega ability Petrify, which lowers speed on switch-ins and gives a good late-game support, and stats, attack, and speed would be buffed, and even the defense and HP could receive some slight buffs. I'm here for Mega Arbok. I know that idea is really cool, Petrify, right? And then you having that like instant speed control would actually be low-key incredibly busted. I think that would be an incredible ability. I think you could also kind of approach it from like a special intimidate sense. You could still like name it Petrify, kind of like play on the snake, Medusa, turn to stone kind of thing, but like lower the special attack. Or you could do a GPL, the custom Mega League that I'm playing in. They have a league, or they have a, what do you call it? that's an ability called Terrify, and it's Special Intimidate. So I think you could also do that, having them on have Physical Intimidate, Special Intimidate when it megas. That could be a really cool way of slowing down some scary late game offense. I think the main thing would be making it faster so that you could like get those coil sets off, and then making that like part dark typing. I think Arbok would actually be incredible if that was the case, or at least really solid. Next up, we have Jarl saying free Mega Jynx. No, I think its design was really bad. I feel like there's a reason that it was cut, because it looked stupid. I don't want Mega Jynx personally. We're gonna keep moving. I mean, if we get Mega Jynx, we better get Mega Magmortar and Mega Electivire, which I would be willing to meet in the middle if we got those guys, because I think those would be sick. Next up, we have Gravy here saying, I feel like Dragapult could really benefit from a Mega. It's definitely underpowered currently. Real answer, I would love to see a regional Walrein line. Just give it a typing that isn't Ice. And Mega Armorouge and Ceruledge, because the designs would go absolutely crazy. I think Mega Armorouge and Ceruledge is like so free. You just give one of them Mega Launcher and one of them Sharpness, up the speed, up the subsequent attack stats, maybe throw a little bit into the bulk and stuff like that. You're good. And those guys would be incredible. Like, I think Mega Armorouge in particular with a Mega Launcher and like, what, is it like 75 speed or something like that? Give it like 15, 20 more speed and then buff up the shit out of its special attack. It wouldn't be too fast or it would be broken, but oh my god, it would kill everything. It would be ridiculously strong with that Mega Launcher boost. And I miss that ability in general. I want more good Pokemon, not named Mega Blasters, to have it. I'm sorry, chat. Clawitzer is terrible. And then Ceruledge, yeah, I mean, like, it with Sharpness would just be cool. Those Bitter Blades would go crazy. And I think it gets Sacred Sword, right? I know it gets Close Combat, but I think it gets Sacred Sword. It just uses Close Combat more, obviously. L5 says Charizard, because he's stupid. Oh, and then I forgot to mention these guys. Regional Walrein would be cool. I like Walrein right now. I think it's a cool mon. I'm not sure exactly how you could kind of tie in it not as a water type. I guess like maybe it just, or not as an ice type, maybe it's just like a Walrein species that grew up in hotter, more tropical waters. I don't know if that fits for ZA in particular, but it being pure water would just make it infinitely better, right? It's kind of a stat demon, so just a better typing would definitely help it out a ton. Maybe not item lock it into boots every week, right? Next up, we have Ben here saying made this a while back, and it's kind of just a list of Pokemon. We're just going to leave it right here. I'm not going to like make it bigger. Bronzing is the most featured mon on Elite Four and Champion teams. I think this is like the perfect mon to set Auto Gravity for doubles or set Auto Trick Room. Auto Trick Room, I've made a video talking about that as a concept before. I think it'd be way too broken, but hey, Talon getting a Mega would also be cool. One, I think it totally might happen with ZA being a Kalos game, but I think it'd be a great way to buff it again, right? Especially for singles. I know Pokemon balances for doubles, but like say they balance this for singles, or say they like don't really care about doubles that much. This thing getting like a returned version of Gale Wings, but with buff stats, like an actual attack stats is 86, give it like 40 attack, give it like 10 speed, and then like kind of distribute it to the bulk, right? You give it like actual Gale Wings again to where it procs at any time. This Pokemon would be good again. It'd be really fun. Now in singles, it'd be very balanced. We can't hold Boots, Rocks. Removal is tough to pull off in more offensive generations like Generation 9. I don't know how Generation 10 is going to go, but I think that could be a cool idea. It would be pretty broken in doubles though, is the only issue, right? So, you know, who's to say if that actually ends up happening? But yeah, Dragonite needs love. I would love a Dragonite, or Dragonite. You could just call it Dragonite holding the Dragonite. I guess it would be Dragonite, right? But I'm actually a big believer that I think every pseudo-legendary should get a Mega. I don't know if that's a hot take. We already have a lot, right? We have Tyranitar, Metagross, Salamence, Garchomp. Then we have... Shit, is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. But I think that we could totally give Dragonite it, catch it up to speed. I think it without an item and multi-scale, like it could be a give and a trade thing to where you could definitely make it better than regular Dragonite. But you're losing out on a lot, right? But I also think like the pre-Mega idea of having multi-scale, thing of a DD and Megging is also pretty shisty. I think Hydra definitely needs some love. I think Goodra, which is next on the list, definitely needs some love. 100% needs a Mega. By far the worst pseudo in my opinion. Then we have Komodo. Could use some love, I'll be honest with you. Dragapult maybe doesn't need it, but it'd be a dope Pokemon in Ubers, right? And then, what do you call it? Gen 9 Baxcalibur, same thing. I think, like, well, no, because, like, when Terra goes away, right, Bax isn't going to be good. Like, I know Bax is an Uber right now because he's very broken with Terra and OU, and it's always Terra banned in Draft, but once, like, Terra isn't in the equation, like in Draft, where it's not allowed to Terra typically, that guy's not used. He's not good. So, like, giving a Mega could totally be worth it. I'm here for it. And then other ones are favorites. I think that's totally fair, right? We got our guys. I could totally see something like a Chestnut getting a Mega, too. Wobbuffet, that would actually be really interesting. As long as it keeps Shadow Tag and its identity, but it, like, maybe gains the net. I'm not sure how you would balance that, but I think that's a cool idea for sure. So, yeah. Next up, we have Kaz here saying, give my boy Tyrantrum a Mega. Not sure about abilities and competitive use, but he deserves it. I did Mega I'll try and remember and flash on the screen. I'll definitely be linking in the card. I did a video for Mega Tyrantrum and Mega Roars also like 8-9 months ago. I'm gonna go ahead and like link that. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't. I think it was a really cool video. I got commissioned like an artwork done for both of them, and I thought it was really cool. I'd love to make more videos like that, by the way. If you guys are interested and more like fake mod stuff, I kind of tested it out for a while, but then they didn't do as well as I'd wanted, so they cost money to make. So if you guys are interested, let me know if you have any ideas for that. Next up, we have JMG here saying Tropius and Talonflame. We already talked about Talonflame, so we won't talk about that too much. But Tropius might be obvious if that guy really needs some love. Maybe leaning into its Harvest and Leech sets by going more bulky, or flipping around to be more offensive and utilize moves like DD and SD. Talonflame would just be cool. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think GPL has a Mega Tropius, and I think its ability is like it gets like a one-time like attack boost the first time it's sent out. It's a little bit more offensive, and then it also gets that attack boost every time Sun is out. So it's still like Sun, you know, Sweeper-esque. I think it just needs a stat buff, right? I think a stat buff, and like if you gave it Grass Dragon instead, made it lean more into offensives, get a little bit of speed, you probably have to tweak the move pool a little bit. I'm not sure if Tropius gets EQ. As long as it gets EQ, it's actually probably fine in that regard to be like a lower tier Mega. I think that could be really cool. So I'm here for Tropius. It's a bad Pokemon. It kind of just, it's one of those Pokemon that really desperately needs that kind of love, right? So yeah, I'm here for it. Next up, we have Luna here saying, give Spiritomb an evolution. A small stat buff to HP and offenses would be cool. It'd be the perfect candidate for Special Intimidate. I'd call it Terror. Yeah, so in GPL, I think they call it Terrify. Also give it Parting Shot. Would be super hype for VGC. That would be sick for VGC. I'm here for it. I think, like, you could lead into the bulk a little bit. Like, you give it, like, I think you give it, like, you can give it 20 in each bulk stat. Like, 20 or 30. But then, like, just buff up the shit out of its attack, in my opinion, right? I know it can use both. And you could still use a special attack as a mixed attacker, especially because you're going to be able to go minus speed. But, like, getting stronger Poltergeist and Shadow Sneaks and Sucker Punches, I think, is more important. I think it needs, like, knockoff, too. It needs reliable Dark Stab. You give it that and Parting Shot, and you give it Special Intimidate. That guy would be really cool because it's really good physically, defensively, and do a lot of physical offense and typing. So buffing up that Special Intimidate, that could be super sick. And it's very punishable with a lot of the Defiant mons that run around in VGC. So I'll be here for it. Next up, we have Nick here. And by the way, if I forget to like your tweets when you're sending these, I apologize. I always try to. So if I'm liking them now, it's because I forgot. But yeah. Next up, we have Nick, though, here saying, Fire Electric Zebstrika, you coward. I think giving it Reckless and adding Flare Blitz could be massively cool and make it a genuine physical attacker. That was exactly what I was going to recommend, by the way. I think Fire is cool, it makes sense, but it really gets Overheat and Flame Charge. We need more Fire moves than just those to make it justifiably be a good Fire type. Flare Blitz is plenty, though. Flare Blitz and Wild Charge. Reckless would also, like, boost up Wild Charge, being one of the weakest moves ever. And Electric Fire is, like, impossible to switch into, right? Like, there's really not much that deals with that. So I'm actually super here for that. I think that's a good idea. It's a simple one, but, like, it doesn't need to be super complex, these ideas, so I'm here for it. Next up, we have Six Confused here saying, I would love to see Sigilyph a Evo or regional variant. It's such a cool mon that has zero relevancy. Mega doesn't make sense, but you have so much to work with. A Fairy Psychic type with Psychic Terrain could be cool. Lore-wise, it's strong at guarding its territory. Yeah, I think some kind of, like, Fairy Psychic could be cool. The only issue is, like, that with Psychic Terrain. Are we not just like a shittier Lele, right? Which I guess is cool for lower tiers. It makes Sigilyph relevant when Lele isn't around, or in a tier that Lele isn't around in. But I would like to see a little bit more creativity if they were going to do some kind of Mega Sigilyph route. I'm not sure exactly what they would do or how they would switch that over to Kalos, but not the worst idea in the world, right? I think, like, in general, the concept of Sigilyph getting something would be cool. If I keep forgetting the like ones. And is there another one? Okay, no, we're good. All right, cool. We're getting towards the bottom. Frito here next is saying, give me Mega Dragonite. A slight increase to this base stats and speed would be incredible. Yeah, I'm 100% here for it. I would love Dragonite, personally. I know we kind of talked about Dragonite already, but I'd love it to be like a jack-of-all-trades Mega. Like a Mega Altaria, but like obviously he's working with a better stat base to begin with. So you just like add like 20 to every stat, and like 25 to like each attacking. Like you do like 25, 25, 20, wait, how would that work? Because you can't buff HP. So it's just attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. Oh no, you could just add 20 to each stat. Like very Mega Altaria-esque. And I think that could be actually really, really cool. I would super be here for like a Jack of all trades Mega Dragonite, kind of like a better version of Mega Altaria, to be completely honest with you. I would 100% be here for it. Next up, we have Sandy Simmies here saying that they'll give both, one of each. Mega Cinderace. Ace is really good as is, but make it Fire Electric with Galvanize, and this mon could cook. Boosted double edges, facades, and quick attacks, and give it boosted speed with a Para Immunity, and you have a nasty mon. That's actually a really sick idea. Hold on, did they do more? Oh no, they didn't. I'm actually super here for that. I think like Galvanize as an ability makes sense too, like the electric fast soccer player. You could just like, you know, put some thunderbolts on its ears and you're good to go, right? And you're just moving. That would be awesome. And again, Fire Electric, another, we already talked about it. It's unguardable, right? It would make this one ridiculously strong. Those Pyro Balls are like unguardable now. Really, you only have dragons to resist that dual stab combination. And those typically aren't the bulkiest things in the world, right? So I'm super here for it. That's actually a really cool idea from Simmies here. And then we have Regional. I'm biased because I like this mon, but Mightyena, Regional Evolution would be cool. Probably something more middle of the road over being busted. Maybe make it slower and bulkier, changing out Quick Feet for maybe Strong Jaw, and this has some potential. Yeah, like very like Obstagoon-esque, right? And since like Obstagoon is slower than Lanoon, but like bulkier or stronger, I'm here for it. I think that could be really cool. Maybe you make it like Dark Ghost because of the whole like hyena kind of like depiction and media and stuff like that in the wild, so I think that's pretty cool. And Convergent, I don't see anyone talking about this, so I'll add one. Ooh, a Convergent, like Toedscool and Toedscruel. That's cool, actually. I'm here for that. Make a Convergent Muck based on Tree Sap. Give it Super Sweet Syrup, Gooey, and make it a pure fairy special attacker with Calm Mind, or keep it physical. I think you'd keep it physical, in my opinion. I think, like, Gooey makes a ton of sense. Super Sweet Syrup would also make sense thematically, but it sucks, so I don't like it. It's a bad ability. But I love Gooey. I think Gooey's a really cool idea. Gooey and Sticky Hold is probably what I go with, because like it would keep Sticky Hold, which a lot of poisons, you know, typically get. I'm pretty sure Muck gets Sticky Hold as well. Not sure, actually. I know Swallow gets Sticky Hold, right? Because Gulpin does. I might be mixing up my low tier poisons, but regardless, I think Sticky Hold and what do you call it? Gooey would make a ton of sense. And I think keeping it physical, right, and just giving it like Play Rough, and you could add new moves to its move pool, right? Like you could find ways of making that interesting. And there's not a lot of options when it comes to fairy physical attacking, but I think it could be pretty cool. You just like make sure it has moves like Drain Punch and like Stomping Tantrum. That could be pretty cool. You give it a lot of grass moves potentially as well, because it's like very like tree adjacent. So I'll be here for it. Next up, we have MNAS here saying Mega Magmortar with Armor Cannon. Yeah, same idea as Armorouge, right? You just give it a little bit more speed, a little more special attack, and you let it click like Armor Cannon with Mega Launcher. I'm assuming Mega Launcher is assumed if we're giving it Armor Cannon too. And it feels like almost Armor Cannon fits better for Magmortar than it does Armorouge, or like at least equally. So, yeah. Next up, we have Stamina, Water Steel, Mega Swanna. I'm not sure the vision on this. I think Water Steel with Stamina is an incredible typing. Shedding that flying typing defensively would be incredible for Swanna, and it would keep like Hurricanes and Air Slashes to throw off still, right? So, I mean, it would make it a lot better defensively. I wonder, like, would you lean into like the bulkier aspect? Like, it gains like a bunch of steel on top of its body, so it slows down a ton, but gets a ton bulkier, and then you just give it some offenses? Not a bad idea. Mega Starmie with adaptability would be so sick. Like some very like Cosmic-y-esque Mega Starmie, kind of like leaning in the fact that it's like a literal alien, would also be super sick. Give it adaptability, make it that breaker that it once was. Water Psychic is pretty darn spammable, and you have great coverage moves for everything else. You could just kind of click adaptability, Hydro Pumps, you boost that guy's special attack up a ton, and you're kind of chilling. So I'm here for it. And then lastly, we have Winter Redstone here saying, give me Mega Skarmory. Screw defense, I want to see a 120 attack and 1 team Mega Skarmory, spamming adaptability, Brave Birds, and Steel Wings with Swords Dance. I don't think you click, I think you'd click Iron Head, my friend. Is it broken? Yes. Does it make sense to lore-wise? Probably not. Skarmory's my favorite Pokemon if you couldn't tell. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm using a Mega Skarmory, right? I won't say it's offensive in the league I'm using it in. In GPL, it's like a custom Mega League. I've talked about it a ton on stream before. But I drafted Mega Skarmory, and I love their idea for it. I think it is so cool. It does have 110 speed. It's a lot faster, but it's also considerably bulkier, and it's a little bit stronger. I think it has like base 100 attack, 105 attack, something like that. But it has an ability called Pristine Armor, in which they could kind of allocate more points to its speed and attack because its ability boosts both defenses by 25%, unless it is hit by a water move or in rain. That also resets upon switch out. So if I get hit by a water move, Pristine Armor wears off and I come back in, I get that back, right? Which is really cool. I think that's an awesome way to make this thing work because it's fast. It has good options in like Swords Dance and like Drill Run and things of the sort. Brave Bird, Iron Head, ID Body Press, Spikes, Rocks. It's a really fast Taunter now. Like, it's a really, really cool mod. I have it with Iron Valiant and I really like the idea of it. So I think something like that could be a pretty cool idea. I don't know 120 with adaptability. It doesn't really make sense. But I think there is room for a Mega Skarmory for sure. And Skarmory's just kind of been bad lately, right? I really don't think it's a great Pokemon this generation, especially in singles and draft. So giving it like that big boost would be awesome. I think that'd be really, really cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the ideas down in the comments below. Obviously, we went through some really, really cool ones, some really cool suggestions. If there are ones that I didn't necessarily give like a great explanation to what I think they should have, I'd love to hear your ideas for the Mega Pokemon listed here in the comments down below. What abilities you give them, what kind of stat boost you give. I think that makes this really fun. So a little call to action. Go ahead and drop that down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, sub if you're new, and I'll see you guys this weekend for another video. Later.